Howdy folks, thought I'd do a little update in case anybody was wondering what I was talking about. This is the water supply that I had originally fabricated for the water coming in here. I'm using one of these really cool quick disconnect type fittings that are air conditioning and refrigeration. And Ty, one of my viewers, and he's got an Allen locomotive also, he said that this has to be, the water, the air seal has to be unbelievably tight, and I did not. When we were testing it before, I did not have any hose clamps on this pipe, so that's number one. I'll have a hose clamp the next time we test it, but that screws on here onto that flare fitting. What I had done is I had put another flare fitting over here, and I had flared the tubing and had a flare nut here, and then a conventional solder joint to the joint that comes with the, I'm sorry if you can't see that, the joint that comes with the, this is a super scale economy injector. So when we were testing it before, it wasn't feeding, but this is, in my opinion, this is probably the culprit right here. Either air was getting in here and it wouldn't let the injector work, or air was getting in here. And my money is actually on this seal right here, just because these flares are not perfect. It may or may not be airtight. I'm certainly no expert at making them, although I've done a bunch for brake lines and cooling lines on cars. Anyway, you can see now, hopefully, this is solid. What I did today, I took this apart, I cleaned it with some acid solution, then I put some flux down for the silver solder, and I put silver solder on it, and it's completely silver soldered together. It's hard to really shake it with one hand, but you can, maybe you can, wait, I'll do this. I don't know if that, anyway, it's a solid one piece now, silver soldered together. Very happy about that. This nut, it'll be more or less for show, and I'll put that back on, and we'll be ready to go for testing again in the future for another test. Speaking of testing, weather here is nice. I'm thinking either this evening or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, I'll come back out here and test the tender itself. My idea is that I can I'll put a gallon or so of water inside the tank, and then I can test the tender hand pump, just actuate it and see the water coming out of the lines over here. So we'll do a little test of that. It'd be nice to know that, make sure I don't have any leaks or anything, and make sure everything works properly before I put this all together. Then that's my next idea is I'll probably, if everything tests out okay, probably put the whole locomotive back together, put the cab back on and everything, and that'll be a nice feeling. I've got the cab sitting over here on top of an old Shopsmith, so we'll get the thing put together and hopefully do an actual test with the tender hooked up, providing the water supply to the locomotive, and we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned for future updates. Hopefully, I guess the next thing will be the actual water test on the tender whenever I get a chance to do that, and then get it buttoned all up. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I'll keep you posted.